Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
Alright guys, Boruto episode 210 preview. This episode right here is actually supposed to be decent. It's supposed to be like a joint mission between Konohamaru and Sai, and obviously they're in the Hokage's office. One of the things that I definitely do want to point out, in the review of episode 209, by the way, if you guys haven't necessarily seen the review, I recommend you guys watch that. I uploaded that a little bit earlier on today, but in the review of episode 209, I didn't even point out the fact that Konohamaru is still in the hospital, bro. You guys know, I don't really have the most respect for Konohamaru, but this right here has to be one of the most outrageous things I ever heard from Konohamaru in the past couple of weeks. Naruto and Sasuke got mollywopped by Jigen. Like, I'm not gonna even compare the healing abilities between Naruto and Sasuke, because obviously Naruto and Sasuke are supposed to heal a lot faster. But let's be honest, bro. Like, it's been a minute since Konohamaru just got like one or two like rod stuck into him, and he was still in the hospital. Like in the last episode, he was still in the hospital. But I'm glad my man's Konohamaru is fine right now. I'm glad he's good enough to go out on a mission. I definitely still do want to see exactly what the relationship between Kawaki and Konohamaru are actually going to be. But regardless, let's get into the actual preview. About the man named Boro, the one Boruto and the others took down. All right. We found out he was a leader of a cult. That's fire. That's true. That's true. Centered around the Otsutsuki. Alright. Oh, one thing that I do want to point out. A lot of people have been telling me stop saying Otsutsuki and to start saying Otsutsuki. So I'm going to start doing that. But regardless, I'm not necessarily sure if it was centered around the Otsutsuki. I mean, they definitely did have some elements of the Otsutsuki. The thing about Boro is that he really worshipped Otsutsuki. And it was like a very big, like I wouldn't necessarily say dichotomy. It was like a very big eye-opening scene for Boro when he had to actually fight against an Otsutsuki in Boruto. Like, that guy right there was pretty much shook, but regardless, he had so much reverence for the Otsutsuki, he thought that building a cult like centered around the Otsutsuki was the way to go. But the Otsutsuki really didn't have anything to do with that cult. Like, Ishiki Otsutsuki wasn't necessarily worried about that cult. He still isn't necessarily worried about that cult. All he's worried about right now is Kawaki and potentially Boruto. Like, let's be honest. Now, not only that, I mean, even the idea that Boro wanted to do, like the infinite Tsukiyomi, Ishiki Otsutsuki doesn't even really have a Rinne Sharingan. So how would that even work? You feel me? Like, who would actually do the infinite Tsukiyomi for Boro? Like, I'm confused about that. But maybe he didn't really think that far into it. Like, let's be honest, he still thinks that infinite Tsukiyomi is the way to go. Like, he's not that knowledge at this particular point. This right here is interesting, man, because the 5 great nations of the other 5 Kage, they are really in the dark as of right now, or from what we think they're in the dark. Like, let's be honest, over the past couple of episodes, some huge things have happened. Some absolutely insane things have happened. One of the first things being Boruto's karma seal basically going to the second stage, Momoshiki possessing his body. Not only that, Kawaki, his karma seal going to the second stage, him growing a horn. Not only that, an Otsutsuki, an Otsutsuki member literally teleporting inside of the Hidden Leaf Village from the karma seal of Kawaki. And not only that, Sasuke going to another dimension to fight this said Otsutsuki member. And also Boruto and the rest of Team 7 going to that same dimension to actually free. Just a bunch of stuff happened and took place without the knowledge of the other 5 great nations. So I think a 5 Kage Summit right now is definitely needed. I definitely do want to see something like that in anime, only in 5 Kage Summit, to see exactly what they think about the situations that's going on right now, how they'd handle situations that's going on right now. It seems like they're actually going to have to cooperate and actually connect with the other 5 great nations, so I'm pretty sure something like that can possibly happen. Might not be a full-blown 5 Kage Summit, might just be like a conference call that we did see earlier on when Kawaki was actually adopted by Naruto, but it'll still be like some communications between the 5 Kages. That right there would definitely be something that we want to see. But regardless, let's get back into it. Right now, infiltrate the cult. This man Konohamaru and Sai, bro. Bruh. Alright, first things first. I think that this mission right here is definitely tailored to Konohamaru mainly because we've seen Konohamaru do something like that before in the past. If you guys do recall, back when Victor had his I should say laboratory up, there are people that were able to actually visit the laboratory. He allowed him to actually enter that quote-unquote laboratory, and then Konohamaru actually did do some damage. So I think, even though I slander Konohamaru a lot, I think that this mission right here definitely fits Konohamaru. Sai a little bit, of course, every mission fits Sai. Sai's a Jonah. He's elite right now. I'm just saying for Konohamaru, we don't necessarily think like every single mission is good for Konohamaru. So I think that this right here, especially, is made for Konohamaru, I should say.
次回ボルトナルトネクストジェネレーションズからの手
They got Delta in this mall. They got Delta, bruh. They got Delta, bruh. I ain't gonna lie, bruh. I might be one of Delta's biggest fans out here, bruh. I think Delta is so underrated, bruh. And even in the Boruto manga, people saying they like either, bruh. I'm like, bruh, I don't know if y'all blind, bruh. Like, bruh, I hope Future ain't mad at me right now, but let's continue. Damn. Yo, this man Konohamaru is this man Konohamaru is shook. I ain't gonna lie. I do not expect Konohamaru to do anything against Delta. Like, Delta could bully Konohamaru, walk up to him, snatch his hat, you feel me, jump at him, and I still wouldn't blame Konohamaru for trying to do anything against Delta. Like, Delta is extremely fast, extremely strong. Konohamaru can't do nothing right here. Sai, I wouldn't blame him if he didn't necessarily do anything against Delta. So I wouldn't necessarily be too mad at Konohamaru if he doesn't necessarily even make a move on a character like Delta. Like, let's be honest. This man's still shook. Like, he can't do nothing, bro. Konohamaru is in disarray. All right, but I like it, man. I like it. I like the episode. I think it's going to be very, very good. I definitely like the introduction of Delta. Honestly think that Delta is probably going to be one of my favorite parts of this episode. Not saying, obviously, the whole episode is not necessarily going to be good without Delta. But one of the things that I definitely think is that Delta's probably not necessarily going to be a very big part of this episode, mainly because Delta was introduced at like, what, 20, 22, 21 seconds into the actual preview. So I think that she's probably going to have probably I don't know, 2-3 minutes at the last parts of the episode. So I wouldn't necessarily be too surprised if she barely gets any time. But regardless, I definitely do think that she's probably going to be one of the highlights of this episode. But let me know what you guys think, man. I think this episode is going to be decent. Let me know what you guys think. But it's me, your boy, Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.